Good morning, everyone. The session will start in few minutes. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nisha Bale, core team member of the Revolution Software Development Club. I welcome you all to the Augmented Reality workshop with Unity. This workshop is organized by the Revolution Software Development Club under the Department of Computer Engineering with the Unity Center of Excellence, Vishwakarma University. To give everyone a brief about what we are going to learn today, right from the basics of what Unity is and how it is used for making basic applications to making a full-fledged augmented reality application with a live demonstration. Unity is a software that is used by various companies for making games. To mention a few games made with Unity: Pokemon Go, Temple Run, and Escape from Tarkov. Before we begin, let me invite Dr. Yogesh Deshpande. Professor Yogesh is an accomplished and a student-focused information technology professor with 28 years of teaching in diverse classroom environments. He inspires students to pursue academic and personal excellence for becoming lifelong learners. He has a wide experience in the areas of curriculum development, evaluation methodologies, academic audit, and human-centered design. Having strong leadership and management skills, he is awarded PhD in human-computer interaction design from IIT Guwahati. He is presently the professor in Department of Computer Engineering and the director, Unity Center of Excellence at VU. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Could you please address the audience and share a few insights about the importance of unity and this workshop? Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I just want a feedback. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, we
Am I
can hear you.
audible?
Yes, sir, you're
Okay, okay,
audible.
great, great. So it gives me really a great pleasure to be a part of this workshop, and I congratulate the Revolution Club, all the members, organizing team, and all their colleagues. I also I'm happy that there is a lot of students' enthusiasm to this area of what is called as, in other words, extended reality, which accomplishes or which combines augmented reality, virtual reality. In short, we have started this Unity Center of Excellence around 1.5 years back, and a lot of students from Vishwakarma universities are taking part in this. It has been told that immersive technologies or gaming technologies is going to be really impactful in education in all diverse fields, even in industry, in next 10 years. And slowly, slowly, immersive technologies are impacting all different ways of life. And as you all know, and as has been told, that immersive technology consists of gaming, it consists of augmented reality, virtual reality, or we call otherwise mixed reality. There are many applications. You can name any area, and we have applications in augmented reality as well as virtual reality. So we can use it for learning human anatomy, or it is used for neurosurgery, also in smart manufacturing. Immersive storytelling in creative media is a very interesting field. And obviously, we know VR or AR is also used in gaming. But apart from that, AR in VR is also used in advanced automotive visualization. It is used in journalism. Different crime scenes can be created through virtual reality or augmented reality applications. We use this field or this technology in machine design. In architecture, it is used vastly to give create walkthroughs, and you can create immersive experience of going through whatever the flat or maybe the house that you have bought. In furniture design, in interior space design, augmented reality has vast applications. Also in fashion technology, you go to a shop and you want to try the clothes, so you can try those clothes using augmented reality applications. Then we have applications of augmented reality in museums, in exhibitions. Students can be trained in psychological studies for mental health. Okay, and travel and tourism. Absolutely, in last 1 year, we had a very hard time, and the most you can say the hit area as far as business is concerned was travel and tourism. Now, if you can't visit different places, you can use augmented reality or virtual reality as a marketing technology for travel and tourism. So sitting in one place, you can get an idea and you can go through around the world and visit different places. We have use of augmented reality in sound engineering. We have use in pharmacy and in many other applications. In Vishwakarma University, we have been very happy to start such a center or a student club where around 20 faculties were initially trained by Unity. Then we had around 25 students of BA animations who underwent a game development course. 72 students have been trained, including Sarosh, in Unity beginners course. We have also trained around 26 students in Unity Advanced on a project based learning. So there was a workshop conducted on fundamentals and applications of AR and VR by Unity, a 3 weeks workshop by Mr. Ankit Mukherjee, and it was from Unity. And I wanted to actually share you the applications that were made by our students, VU students, in that workshop. We have a student club which caters to different workshops in augmented reality. We have conducted various expert lectures, a gaming workshop, a workshop of AR and VR. And now I'm really proud that we don't have to call people from outside, but our own students who have been trained and who have been championed in this technology is taking workshop today. So Sarosh has been one of the champions in this area and has been involved in the inception, foundation, and even growth of Unity Center of Excellence. We have conducted various lectures from experts which are at national and global level. We conducted a very good interaction of professionals from Pune. It was called Unity Day that we conducted last year, where around 150 plus audience attended the workshop, one day event, which was in collaboration with Unity. And there, the students of Vishwakarma University got an opportunity to interact with around 15 speakers. All of them were developers in Unity. So we also participated in international conferences. There is a Unite conference which happens every year, and I think this year or next year I would definitely like some of the students to participate in these conferences. We had two important internships that students took. Around 8 students from computer engineering department went for internships or full 6 months internship in Firebird VR as well as Satvarise Technologies. And I'm proud to say that they can also become champions and mentors for all the students. A second year student, Shamli Sahani and Dhaneshwari Vaishnavi, also created intelligent games and they have put on App Store. In addition to Sarosh, who has also created many games and put on YouTube as well as on App Stores. So, with this brief introduction, I would welcome all of you to this exciting workshop and my best wishes for the entire workshop. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of encouragement. So, without any further ado, let me now invite today's workshop conductor, Mr. Sarosh Dandoti. He's a second year student and coordinator of the Unity Center of Excellence as well as the core team member of Revolution. He also has a YouTube channel called Dankrat. Do subscribe to his channel. The link is given in the description box below. So, yes, Sarosh, let's begin with the workshop. Over to you.
Yes, so good morning everyone. I hope I am audible. So yeah, so let's just get started with the workshop. We had provided you this document, so I hope everyone has installed the necessary requirements. In order for the augmented reality part to work, you have to make sure you have all of these stuff installed. So you are going to need the OpenJDK and the Android SDKs for exporting your projects, and we are going to need Git for Vuforia. So yeah, let's just get started. So after you have installed your Unity, please prefer the LTS version. You can just go inside projects and create your own. You can create your own new project, a 3D project. So let's just call it workshop Unity, and then just hit create. It will take a while, so depending according to your PC, depending according to your specs, it will take time, but it will be done soon. Let's just wait for a few more seconds. There's nothing to worry about, because when you are creating a new project, it will take this much time. It will it won't matter much. Okay, so here we are in the basic Unity project. So once you've started it, you will see this scene. So here, so you will see some tabs called scene, game, asset store, etc. So let's just go through the basic UI of Unity engine. So this is basically your workspace. Here in this workspace, in this 3D space, you create everything that you need. You can look in the 3D space by pressing the right mouse button. You can you can click the middle mouse button to move upward, downward, or sideward. And here is our hierarchy. So this contains a list of everything that is in our scene. So right now we have a component called main camera and a directional light. Here you can see them. And then this in the bottom is the assets panel. So this is kind of a library or a folder where all of your 3D models, your scripts, all of your colors, your images, your medias will be stored. So if you want to use anything, you just pick it and you just place it here or in the hierarchy panel. On the right hand side, we have this inspector. So what this does is basically when you select a certain object like main camera, the inspector will show all of the detailed components of main camera. So like here in the transform component, we have its position, we have its rotation. I can open and close it like this. And here we have everything about the camera. You guys can just play with these features and just get to know them better. But for now, we don't need to do them. We don't need to change anything in them. And here we have the directional light. You guys can change the color, convert it into different lights. We'll get there. So now how to create a basic 3D object. So whenever you start your project, you must see some 3D object, right? So you can just right click here and create a 3D object. We can create a cube, and then I will just double click on the cube. So you guys can see that now I have my own 3D cube. So coming here, here is our different kinds of modes. So we can select wireframe. So now it just shows me the basic wireframe of a 3D object, and but we will keep it in shaded. And this light basically renders our scene like the game object will be, like the game scene will be visible. So if I shut this light off, so now I can see it more clearly. So in this panel we also have the asset store. We will look this much clearly in the later part. So here basically you can download all of your 3D models and etc. Maybe download some animations or scripts. Coming back to the scene, here is my basic cube. Now the functions, now how I can modify or move this cube. So here is our 3D axis, so I can move it however I want. And if you see on your keyboard, you will have these buttons. When you press these hotkeys, for example W, E, R, or T. So what these hotkeys are, these are basically these buttons. So this will basically just move, let us move in our scene, and this allows us to move our object. Its hotkey is W, and when you press E, we can rotate it along the 3D axis, just like this, however we want. And if you press R, we can change its size. So I can change the size of this cube, I can create it into a cuboid, and etc. Alright, so let me just delete this and create another cube. Or let's create a sphere, for instance. Okay, so this is our sphere. Now we can color this sphere. We can give it any color we want. We can provide it an image. So for creating a color, you basically need to create a material, a default material, and then you need to allot it to the sphere. So we can just go right click here and then create a material. Let's name it red. And here I can, on the right side in the inspector panel, I can just change its features. So I will color it red, and what I can do is I can drag and drop it here, or I can drag and drop it in on the sphere. So I'll just drag it here. So now our sphere is painted red. So you can just test these values they are fun to play with. For now, we will keep our smoothness and yeah, metallic. Okay. All right, then we can move further. Okay, so here are here is the directional light. So basically, what is the directional light? So the directional light is kind of a sun in your game scene. It doesn't matter where you place it. uh, what matters is how you move it. So if you move it, it will be like a kind of a day and night cycle. All right, so it doesn't really matter where you place it, only its direction matters. It's kind of a sun. There are different kinds of lights that we can use. We have a point light, which basically puts a point light in a specific area. A spotlight basically works like a street light, and then area light lights up a specific area in your scene. So an area light is faced like a triangle, a rectangle, or however you want. I can make it a triangle or a rectangle. And then if suppose, for example, if in my game scene I have this, for example, a street, so I can just change it however I want. So for example, this is the road, so the road will be lit up. Okay, so here we have audio and video, and then we have UI. We will be getting into UI later. So let's just now create a terrain. So let's see what a terrain is. So a terrain is your world basically. So in your terrain you can create roads, you can create mountains, you can edit it however you want. So this is actually very big. So if you want to compare it in real life size, your actual human sized character will fit in only like one or two of these cubes. So you can imagine how big this terrain is. So we can edit this terrain. You have to just select it and then come into its inspector panel, and then you can go here and select raise or lower terrain. You can select your own brush sizes. You can play around with these features. Let's keep the brush size 25, and then I can just create my mountains or whatever feel like. So as you can see now, I am creating basic mountains. So suppose if you want to create a forest or a jungle or some hills, you can just create these mountains, and then suppose this is a valley, I can increase the opacity so it will get much deeper. And suppose if you want to delete this, you just press shift and then you just hover over it, so it decreases the length. All right, so then we have the paint texture, etc. So you can just select anything you want and then just go ahead and painting it. All right, so now I guess this I guess this is enough for terrains. Okay, so now let's get into physics. So I will just go where my sphere is, and then, or wait a minute, I'll delete my sphere and I will create my a set of cubes here, so we can see how actually physics plays. So here is my cube. I can just move it around with the arrows, and I can duplicate it with Control D. So I have just now duplicated Control D, and yeah. So what I will do right now is I will pick up my cube and I will place it here. So what happens now is that my simple cube is now converted into a prefab. So what is a prefab? So a prefab is basically a compilation of different objects which we don't have to use again and again. So for example, I created these three boxes. So grab these I can grab these two boxes now and then create a prefab out of them. So now I can use these two boxes as one object in my hierarchy, so I don't have to move both of them differently, right? Okay, so now I'll just select these. Let me just delete these ones, and now what I'll do is I'll duplicate my prefab. So here's my prefab, so I can go inside it and then I can change its components however I want. So I can add a component here which says a rigid body. So now basically my cube will act like it has a rigid body. It will react to physics, it will fall down, it will roll over, etc. So let's just test it. Here are my cubes, and then see, now I allotted the value of rigid body to only one of them, but as you can see, all of the three cubes now have a rigid body component. So let me just duplicate them. And let me just rotate them so we have a better look at our physics. Yeah, so in our game object, here is my camera. Alright, so why is this so dark? So you guys remember that we changed the directions of the directional light, so it basically turned it into a night. So as I was saying, when I move this, it basically turns into day and night. So now we will keep this here, so it's a proper day. Now this is my main camera. This is what the player will be saying when we press play. So I will just move it so that we can see our cubes falling down, and then let me just rotate it. Okay, yep, all right, and then let me just make an angle. Yeah, so now when I press play, these cubes will fall down because they have the rigid body component. Yep, as you can see, they play a proper physics. I can add a cube to this. So when I can add very many cubes, I can add a cylinder or a sphere. So let me just add a sphere and show you guys. So I will just keep it above this. Alright, so before playing again, let me just explain you what this is. So this is basically our 3 axis. So what this helps us is to basically imagine or align our objects together. So for example, I am in this free mode, but when I press this button, I get an absolute 90-degree view of whichever side we want. So if I want to see that if my sphere is exactly below these squares, so I just press these, so it will be easy for me to imagine that whether this sphere is exactly below or not. So now we can press play. It will automatically switch to the game tab. Okay, so this didn't play. Why? Because I didn't have my rigid body component on it. Okay, so before playing it again, I will just like to explain this is kinematic function. If you press this, everything which can collide will collide with the sphere, but the sphere will never move. It will be like a fixed wall or a fixed tree in game. So no matter how much you push it, how much you take a car and crash into a tree, like in our GTA games, the tree won't move, right? So this is basically that function. So it will not move at all, but if any of these cubes collide them, it won't even go through, it will just collide it and fall. The cube won't move at all. So I will untick this is kinematic function, and then we can press play again. Right, so as you can see, now this sphere is falling down. I can just untick maximize on play. I can untick maximize, and then I can see it in my scene actually how my ball is rotating and functioning in real time. So I can even move it like this while the game is playing. So if suppose I pick it up and create it a height, it will fall down because it's in play mode and all the physics will work on it. So as you can see right here, I'm picking it up and I'm letting it fall down. Same goes with the spheres and everything. See, yep. So you can just create very kind of cool stuff with physics by playing with physics. And one more thing, I will, since I am in the play mode, don't do any kinds of editing while you are in the play mode. You can see I can still edit all of these features while I am in the play mode. Okay, but if I stop my play, all of the edits that I made while I was in play mode will be reset. So this is a common mistake that most of the developers make, most of the young developers make. So they forget that they are in the play mode, and then they create all sorts of cube, they create roads and etc. And when they go to play, they see that, oh no, that they are actually in play mode, and when you stop it, everything just gets reset. All of the changes you made in components, all of the positions of your 3D models, any kind of changes that you made. All right, so this was the basics about physics. You can color them and play with them however you want, right? So now let's check asset store. Right, okay, asset store is a really cool place and you guys will love it. So this is the asset store. A lot of stuff is paid here, but you don't ever need to buy anything because there's a lot of free stuff which will help us for like always. So let me just type something. I want a basic 3D model. Let's say Earth. I want a model of Earth. And all these are paid. So now I'll just select a free asset. You need to be signed in before you download your asset. So you just need to create your account on Unity and just be signed in. And okay, now I will download this stylized Earth. You have to just click the download button here. I've already downloaded, so I have the import option now. So what this basically is it's a basic 3D model of Earth. So it doesn't do anything specific. So let's just import our Earth. Yep, so our Earth is now imported. I will go back into my scene, and as you can see I have a folder here created of my imported asset inside here. So inside this, as you can see, the low poly Earth is a prefab actually. So I can just bring it around here, so you can see that this is an simple 3D model of Earth. You can import warriors, you can import swords and weapons, etc. But this is just for testing. You can play around it as you want. You can also add it like a rigid body scripts and etc. All right, so next we will now see animation. So I will go ahead and animate our Earth. Let me just see if this is visible in our camera. Right, it's not. So let me just adjust my camera first. Oops. Okay, so now my camera is visible. Let me just select the low poly Earth. So how to animate? Now I'm just going to make this Earth rotate for now because for now it's easy. So inside this project I will go here in animation. So before that, here is just the console. So whatever scripts you write or any editings you make, the console gives us logs if anything went wrong. It's like a simple terminal. So here is our animation tab. So you create an animation and then you allot it to your 3D object. All right, so to begin animating low poly Earth, that's a prefab, we have to create an animation, and with animation we have to create something called animator. So animator is one that controls all of the animations allotted to a 3D object. So it helps us play those animations. So there's the 3D model, there's an animation controller or animator, and then there are animations which are allotted to animator, and then the animator is responsible for playing those animations. All right, so let's just create a new animation. I will just call it Earth anim. Okay, so now we have created a animation. So as you can, when I go out and see, you can see I have created a Earth anim dot file. I will go back. I will select my low poly Earth, and now I will animate. So the animation is pretty simple. It's just like Macromedia, Flash, and any other animation softwares. So here we have the timeline, we have the play pause buttons. So now I will start the animation. I will bring my key line to about 1, and then what I will do is I will just rotate it for now. So as you can see, the key movements are created. Now when I leave my mouse click button, the animation will be recorded. So I did a complete 360 movement. So if I go ahead and see my timeline, you can see that it has moved from 0 to 360 degree. You can change it by here, you can move it like this however you want, but for now I will just stop the playing. So now my animation has created. Okay, as you can see, an animator component has been allotted, and when I go into the anim, you can see I can loop it, right? So when I go ahead now and play this, as you see, my earth will now always be moving. All right, so we can edit this more, like for example, now since I can start the playing again, and what I can do is I will bring it here, and similarly I will make it go down. All right, so now if I see my timeline, it's rotating as well as it's moving downwards. So as you see, my earth is moving a little bit up and down. So this was the basic about animation. So now one thing to notice, now you can create as many earths and cubes as you want. For example, I can allot this animation that we did to the earth to this cube, but when I allot it, the cube will move from here and it will go to the position of earth, and then it will play its animation and then come right back here, because our animation clip has been done on this position. So it will do the same action as well as it will keep its position. So suppose if my cube is here somewhere, and if I allot this same animation to this cube, to this sphere, the sphere will move from its space, it will just disappear and appear here, and then it will play its animation, and if it's not on the loop, it will go right back where it was. Alright, so we saw terrain, we saw animations, we saw how physics work. You can go in this bar, you can go into Windows, and you can go in rendering, and you can go in light settings. So in lights, here we have something called skybox. So what's a skybox? So this artificial sky that you see is currently our skybox. According to your games, you can create different kinds of skyboxes. You can import your skyboxes from the asset store. They are readily available, you just have to download them. And then this is the default skybox that has been given, and then you can just click here and select if any skybox has been in your project, or you can just download them from your asset store and then just import it here and then select it. Yeah, so you can allot different things. You can say what your sun source is, and here you can create fog if you want. So a fog is basically created. See, if when I untick this, it's all visible, but when I create a fog, it gets fuzzier. I can change its speed, I can select its strength, I can select its density, etc. You can just play around with these values and see what suits your project. For now, we don't need fog, so I'll just disable it again. Okay, so now let me we will just see the file. We will go this line wise. Here we have build settings. So you need to configure this properly before you are exporting your project. So currently my project is based on PC. I can select my own platforms as I want. We'll let it be on PC for a while, and if you select a different, you can just switch platform and the target windows. And one more important thing that I would like to tell you is that whenever you have created your scene, it is very important to save your scene specifically. Just not do save, do a save as. So now I'll just name it basics 1. So now my scene has been saved, because a lot of times when you are working in the sample scene and when you create a different scene and go there, you by mistakenly delete everything that you worked on your previous scene. So it is very important when you are in a certain scene and you have worked on it completely, you just save it. You do a save as and create a different scene. Now we can go ahead in the build settings and select add open scenes. So this is my basics one scene that I created, that I saved. So as you can see, it is named 0. That means if I export this game and when the player starts my game with a .exe, this is the first thing that he will see for this project right now. So what games make is games make a UI and then keep it in one scene, and then according to the buttons, according to the levels, buttons, and the credits, the other options, they take you to a different scene every time. So this 0 means this scene will start first. Okay, so in edit we have one of the same features like play, pause. We can see project settings later if we need them. Then duplicate a certain object. In assets we can just go ahead and create the same things which we can do from right here with a right click. And then we can import packages. We will be seeing this properly in the next part, that's the AR part. And then game object, you can create your basic game objects. You can create a UI which we'll be seeing next. You can create 2D objects, you can create a capsule, you can create trees, etc. And then components, whether adding physics, you have to select and then add your components to it. In window we saw rendering, we saw animation. It's the same thing, it just takes you to these panels. Okay, so all right, so I believe now we can get started with the UI part. Okay, so I will just go ahead and create a different scene. Okay, create new scene. I will call it menu. All right, menu, and I will just go inside it. So this is a completely different scene. It's completely empty, but as you can see, I have all of my assets which are there in this current project. So you can access the same 3D models and scripts in your same project in the different scenes too. Right, so here we will create our UI. You just go right click and create a canvas. So this canvas is basically what the user sees on its screen. So I can right click it and now create, for example, text. Okay, so as you can see, I have a new text here. I will call it menu. I can edit all of this as I want. And one more thing that I would like to mention, if you are seeing this menu as a blurred, you have to change your fonts, you have to import other fonts. It's very easy, you just import your fonts here. Let's make it bold and let me increase its size. Okay, it's not visible now because I have to increase its size. Let me just, okay, now I will give it a font size of 60. I will give it a color of red, and then I can edit all of these text stuff. And now we can go ahead by creating a image, a background image for our canvas. So I'll just go back and there and create a raw image. So your hierarchy here actually matters. Okay, now you can see that this menu is not visible because it has the raw image in front of it. So the thing which you want at the back end, at the most back place, you have to place it on top. So now you can see that this menu is available, and also this image and the text are a part of canvas. So the canvas is the parent and these are the children of canvas. So if I move this canvas now, oops, okay, so if now I move this canvas, everything will with it will move, and I can create other things inside here too. So I will just adjust it how I want. You can also give it exact measurements, but for now we will just do it like this. Okay, so now as you can see in my game, I don't see what the camera sees, but since I created a UI, I see what I created in the canvas. All right, let me just back up a bit. Okay, so now we can go ahead by creating simple buttons. Okay, so this is my menu, and This resolution you can adjust however you want. You have to come in your game view and you can select whatever resolution you want. This is now free aspect. I will select maybe this one, or you can provide your custom resolution also. Alright, so 16 to 9. Alright, so this is my basic UI, and now we can create the buttons. So you just right click on canvas and then create a basic button. Okay, so here is our button. As you can see, it's right here. Now this is just a basic default button. You can import or you can create yourself many different kinds of buttons however you want. As you see in this button component, we have in the inspector we have a component called image. So this image is basically the background, the image. You can give it any different image you want. You can change its color, you can edit it however you want, you can change its other components, and inside the button there is a text. So I can name it however I want. I can call it start. I will increase its font again. I will give it 20. Alright, so this now here is my basic button. So I will just go ahead and add this to my build settings and I will place it above so that whenever our game runs, the menu should play first, right? So now we can go ahead and give our button a certain function. So since this is start, what it will do, what we want our button to do is that we want it to go to the different scene. We want it to change our scene. So now we have to allot it a simple script. Okay, so now firstly I will go ahead and create an empty. I will write here scene changer. This script I can allot to anyone I want. Okay, so now we have a empty game object. So here I will create a simple C# script. I will call it change scene, and then I will just go ahead and open my script. Alright, so this is my basic C# script. We can delete the contents inside and we can write our own function, but first we have to do is we have to write using Unity engine dot scene management. Scene management. Okay, so now we can write our own function of changing screen. So what I can do is I can write public void. Now I can write it button change scene, and then I can pass a string inside and I can call scene underscore name, and then I can write inside I will call the scene manager dot load scene, and then I will give it the scene name. Okay, so this is a basic simple script. What this function basically does is that we give the name of the scene where we want to go, and then the button basically takes us there. So I will just Control S and save it. So yep, this is our script. I can just close my VS. Okay, now you can see on the right side it's being displayed what we did. So what now we have to do is I will just grab this script and I will place it on the scene changer. So now you can see it has a component called change script, change scene. It's a script. So now I will go ahead on the button, and inside the button component I will do a plus, and then now I can grab my object which has the change scene script and I will place it here. So it currently has no function, so it will do nothing, but I can go here, I can go in change scene and I can call my function which I created, the button change scene. which we created just now, and then I can pass the name of the scene which I want. So from here, which is the menu, we want to go in our old scene, which was this one. Okay, basics 1. So I will write the correct spelling what I gave it. So it was BAISCS1. Okay, so now it should work. I have named it correctly. We have no errors if whether my script was wrong. Okay, so now I'll just go ahead and play this. Okay, so when I press start, see, it has taken me to my basics 1 scene. So now I can't go back because I didn't create a back button here, which we will do later. Okay, so I'll just play it again. So this is my menu. So when a player starts his game, he will see this, and when he presses on start, he will see his scene, whichever he wants us to go. Alright, so this was the basics about UI, and I would just let's just go back here in our basics one, and let's see this low poly earth. Alright, so now this is called low poly earth, right? It's not very detailed. So if your PC rig is not very high quality, so you prefer using low poly components while creating games. So even when you see when indie developers are creating games, they use low poly 3D models or cartoony 3D models to create their games. Why? Because having highly detailed models takes a lot of processing power, and it's just a lot of work for the game developer as well as for the processing. All right, so even when we are creating an AR object, make sure you don't put a very heavily detailed object inside our AR. You just keep it simple like a cube or something cartoonish. See, when we see our already AR apps like Snapchat or etc., they make everything in a cartoon way, so it's low poly. So as you can see, this currently this cube is low poly. So basically every 3D model is comprised of millions of triangles. Every polygon is comprised of millions of triangles. So suppose you have a game character, for example Lara Croft. So the face of the character, it's very detailed, but it is comprised of millions of small triangles which comprise and form a very detailed structure. So the more the polygons, the more the triangles, the more detailed the face will be, and it will be harder for the processor to to process it, to visualize it. So when we are doing this in AR, it's okay if we do this in just create a simple game, but when we are doing this in augmented reality, it will be a lot of pressure for the processor. So make sure that you use simple cartoony models. That will be very good. All right, so now we can see a little bit more about terrain, I believe. So I can paint my terrain also. Here I did raise. I can just go ahead and paint texture. I can paint trees. I can also do, I guess it's here, I can mass place trees. So currently no trees are defined. I can go here edit trees. I can go ahead and add a tree. Okay, so currently no prefab is allotted to it, and now I will allot it a prefab. I will just create this cube that I selected, and I will add this. So now in mass place trees, okay, so what this basically does, so for example you are creating a forest and you need tons of big trees, right? So when you are game designing, you can't just go ahead and place each and every tree wherever you want. Right, so when I have selected this cube, so what actually happened is in this area I placed my cubes. Since I created, I can change the tree density, I can change the brush size. So less density means there will be less number of cubes placed. Yep, see this. So if you want to place tree models in a certain area, you can just go ahead and use this button. Or if you want to suppose place trees or any objects throughout your terrain, you just click mask place and you define the number you want. Let's keep it 10,000, and I will want to just keep my existing trees and then place. So now as you can see, everywhere 10,000 of these cubes have been placed. You can go anywhere you want on the terrain and you will see cubes. Yep, here you can see all of these cubes. So you can, this is a very helpful trick for creating forests. Okay, so paint texture. Here I can paint my terrain however I want. So I can go and edit, I can create a layer. Okay, let's take this white one. Okay, so now I believe it has been painted white. So I can go ahead and add another layer, or create layer. And if you have any images imported in your assets, you can just import them and then you can just paint them. So currently I had this black image, so as you can see now, over this white, this black is being pasted over it. So for example, if you are creating grass, so you can just download your grass texture from internet, you can place it here, you can just add it from here, and then you select it and then you place your grass or for example sand near the beach however you want. You can change its feature, you can change the brush size, you can change the opacity. Okay, that's a lot of brush size. And then as you see now, the opacity is changed. So here you can use it for making a transition from grass to, for example, sand near a beach. So this trick is helpful for that, right? So now I have selected my terrain. So you can see these boxes over here. When I click on them, it creates a same sized terrain over there. So if I want to just create more and more terrains, I will just click there, but I don't want it, so I will just control Z them again. All right, so now we can see in the UI, well, let's just go back into the menu, and now we can see how to add. Okay, we are seeing this from the back. Let me just come here. Okay, so now we are going to add a video behind our menu. Right, so now I need a video in my assets. So firstly I have to go and import a video from somewhere. I have this simple video clip here which I am going to import in my project. Right, where is it? Okay, so here is my stock footage mp4. All right, so here I will just do transcode and apply. It's good that you do that. Okay, so now I have my video clip here. So I want to display this video in place of my raw image. So to display any video in your UI, what you basically have to do is you have to create something called render texture, and then you have to place your video to the render texture, and the render texture will display the video that's been played. So I will go right click and create a simple render texture. Let's just call it video. Okay, so you can give it size whatever you want. Let's try 1920 into, wait a minute, let's not give it that, let's give it 1080 into 1920. Why? Because this video that I imported is actually vertical, right? So I have to make sure the dimensions that I give are accurate with the render texture, the dimensions of the video. You will know the dimensions of the video from the properties of the .mp4 file. So here I have my render texture created, right? So now here in the canvas I will right click and create a video player. So in the video player I will provide my .mp4 video file and make sure that render texture is selected here, and then target texture. What I have to do is I have to pick up the render texture that I created and then place it here. And now we have to go in raw image and we have to place that render texture here, right? So that white image went away. So now it should, our video should play. All right, so it's a little distorted because our canvas has a different shape and then our video has a different shape. But if you know just allot this correctly, let's give it a, no, I will just stop my play and then let's go and give it our own 1080 to 1920. Yep. Okay, so this is my game view, but I want it the canvas. Okay, so my raw image, I have to adjust this raw image now. Yep, so when you are exporting it for mobile phones, this will be very helpful. Let me just adjust the size of my button and then the size of my menu. Then let's just play this. Alright, so now you can see this video is properly being played. So now if I click start, it will go to my scene, and there we can create another canvas, and then we can create a back button and then allot it a similar script, create a scene changer there. We can give it the same script which we created here. We can go here and we can put the name of our current scene. We can put it menu. So from basics 1 we can go back to the menu by creating a simple back button, right? So before taking a short break, let's just see buttons. I actually have some downloaded, so let's just see some very cool buttons. Alright, so I have these game GUI buttons in my library. I'll just download them. All of these are free. Okay, I'll make sure everything is tick and then just import. When Unity is doing some processing, or if it's importing, or if it's doing any process, make sure you don't mess around with it. Don't try to click anywhere here. If your PC is not much high quality, then just don't switch your tabs. Okay, so as you can see, now I have the game GUI folder. I can go inside it and then let's see playful, right, and see our PNGs. Okay, so now we will allot this button here. So now I can go inside my button, and instead of this UI sprite I can select all of these buttons which I just imported. All right, there are so many. There's back, there's share button, there's backward. All right, so let's see which one looks nice. Okay, so let me just search here play. So I will take this play button and then I have to just remove this color from here, right? So let's just zoom on it and we have to adjust its shape because I edited it, right? Okay, so this looks like an appropriate shape, and then I can just delete this text because now it's a symbol, right? So now I don't need to tell it again like play. Okay, so here it looks pretty decent. And then in my text maybe I can give it an italic look, maybe change its color, maybe change its opacity, or take a color which I want from here. Let's just keep it red. Okay, so this is how you basically import different kinds of buttons. All right, so I guess we can take some short 5-minute break now, and in the next part we will be directly starting with augmented reality. This was just a basic introduction to Unity and how and the necessary things which you needed to create a basic AR object. So yeah, we can take a small break now.
Yes, let's take a break of 5 minutes. And during this time, let me invite Karan Jagatiani. He is the founder and president of Revolution Software Development Club. He will talk about our club and what we do. Good afternoon, Karan. Over to you.
Thank you, Isha. Yes, good afternoon. I hope that all of you are enjoying the session so far. And if you have any questions, you can keep asking them in the YouTube live chat itself. And after the technical session, we will have a dedicated question and answer session specifically for all of your doubts that you have. And Sarosh will specifically answer all those doubts. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. So regarding our club and what we do here at Revolution, so basically we conduct sessions like this regularly where you get to know the first-hand experience of technologies that are used in today's industry. So we have conducted various technical sessions on topics like JavaScript, Angular, React.js, and many more. So if you are interested in checking those workshops out, so they are available on our YouTube channel itself. So you can check it out on this channel only, and also subscribe to our channel and make sure that you hit the bell icon to turn on post notifications if you want to stay updated on similar sessions that we will be conducting in the future. So yes, we will be conducting more sessions in the future. So if you want to stay updated on that and get notifications, get timely notifications, so turn on post notifications for that. On our social media, so we are available on all the famous social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we are on that platform. So we post daily technical content on all of the platforms, and it contains information about trending technologies, quizzes, news. We have various videos posted on our social media channels. So do subscribe to them. All of them are given, the links to all of them are given down in the description box. So yeah, and on the other hand, on LinkedIn, we post technical questions. So the questions which may be asked for your preparation in for the GATE exam, or questions on data structures and algorithm, operating systems, computer networking, etc. So if you want to solve a small question every day, it's not much, but still it will definitely help you in the long run. We do post questions on our LinkedIn page as well. So you guys following us and showing your support, it not only helps us, but it will help you as well to stay updated on the technologies and what's going on. So yeah, it motivates us to keep doing this for you guys and make more content like this, make more sessions, organize more sessions. So please do follow us and so show us your support. So yeah, that is it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Karan. Let us get back to the session. So yes, Sarosh, please continue.
Yeah, okay, I'll continue. All right. So firstly, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Please interrupt me if my voice is breaking or anything. All right. So I believe we can get back. All right. So now we can get started with the actual augmented reality part of this project. So let me just go ahead and create our new scene. I will call it AR maybe. Okay. Let me just go inside the scene. Okay. So now this is a completely empty scene. So before starting, what I would like to tell you guys is whenever you are working on a Unity project, please make sure that you are organizing whatever you are doing. So if you are creating scripts, make sure that you put them in your scripts folder. If you are creating terrains, make a folder for them. And if you are importing some kinds of images and media, create a media folder. And it is very important to organize your project, because when this is just a simple basic introduction, but when you are actually creating a heavy game, a proper game which you are going to release, it will be very difficult for you to organize your stuff. So the first thing that I tell you to do is that you start organizing your stuff. Maybe you can create a folder for materials if you are using a lot of them. for now I'll just put it in media, and maybe I'll also put these terrains in media. Okay, they didn't go. Okay, anyways, okay, so now we can get started with augmented reality part. So if you right click and see that, we can see we have no Vuforia component here. So what you have to do is, all right, you have to go to this website, Vuforia developervuforia.com, and then you have to log in. Okay, so create an account and log in into Vuforia. So in the develop section, first you will see this. You will have no projects or databases here. So what you have to do is just get development key, and then we can provide a name for it. For now, we can give it workshop 1. Okay, and then just stick it and confirm and go inside it. Here you have this key. All right, so we will come back here. For now, go to downloads and then download this 2 KB file. Download this file. All right, I agree. Okay, so now what you can do is show this in folder and then drag this file and then just put it here. All right, so it will add a few scripts. A few of you guys will get error here, and those errors will be because maybe you haven't installed Android JDKs or SDKs. Yes, you have to update your project, and maybe if you haven't installed Git. So Git is a necessary requirement. So if you are getting an error here, it's because you haven't installed the modules which we have told in the workshop, or you haven't installed Git. If you've done those, then it should update your project properly. Okay, let it just resolve packages. Okay, by the time it resolves, we can get back here in develop. Okay, workshop 1. Make sure you copy this key as we need to paste it in the Unity editor. So now in the target manager, I have these old databases. So what you can do is add your own database. I will call it workshop and keep it as device and then create. So I have this workshop database created, and then inside this database I have to add targets. So for adding targets, what your target is basically, for now it's an image. So anything, any 3D model that we want to display in our AR needs to be displayed on top of an image. So what you need to do is preferably take a picture of your book, scan it, and then just take it in your computer. Right, so as you can see, I have an image, high quality image of this book, and then I took it in my PC. So what we will be doing now is we will be adding a target, a single image. We will choose our file, and then I'm just going to take this marker Unity. So we have to enter the width to 1 and then just click add. Click add. Okay, so now our marker is created. So for a few of you, it will take a time to process this status. For now it's active, and this rating means basically how well it will be able to augment our 3D model on top of this image. So for example, when I go inside this and then click on show features, so our camera will basically look for all these features when it wants to display our object, any object that we want on top of this image. So now we can go back. Nope, we have to go back in target manager again, go back in workshop, and then we have created this target, and then you have to do download database and then download it for the Unity editor. As you can see, Unity is still resolving those database, those packages here. There's nothing to worry when you are importing AR packages for the first time. It will take this much time. Okay, so now our database is downloaded. As you can see, workshop.unity package. So now I have to import this in Unity. We'll do that as soon as this is done. If you are having any error at this point, any error, then it means again that you haven't installed Git, or you are missing those Android SDKs and JDKs. So once our project is done, we will also be executing this as an APK file, and then you can just play it from your phone. Okay, so I believe it's been imported. Oh, it's importing again. It will take time. There's nothing we can do anything about it. Okay, it's now done. So as you can see, now we have this Vuforia engine property here. If by chance you guys are not seeing this Vuforia engine button here, then what you have to do is you have to go in window and then in package manager, and then let it load all of the packages. Okay, it will show more of them. Okay, so now you can see I have this Vuforia AR installed here. If you have, if it asks you that, if it tells that you don't have this Vuforia engine here, you just need to go here. Okay, so all of these are now loaded. So you just scroll down. Sec. So you just scroll down and then select Vuforia, and then just like this, just press install here. This process will take a lot of time, and just get this installed if you directly can't see Vuforia engine here. Alright, so now we have our Vuforia imported. Now we can directly now we don't need anything else. So we can go ahead and create an AR camera. I can delete my main camera here, we don't need it at all. Alright, so now I have my AR camera. So this AR camera, when I press play, it will start my laptop camera, right? So before doing that, let me just create an image target. There are currently no multi-target. Okay, import. Alright, so now what we have to do is we downloaded this workshop package. So I'll just go ahead and install this. All right, import. Okay, so it's done. I guess now I can create my image target. Yes, I can. Let me just delete this again and create a new image target. Alright, so now here we can see in this image target behavior, we have to select database here, and in database we select our workshop. So now when I zoom in here, as you can see that image which we put in Vuforia is now visible here, since we imported this package, right? So now we have to select database and then select workshop, and it's already selected my image target. You can add multiple targets there and select whichever target you want. For now we only have one. Alright, so now we can just go down, make sure that it's correct. So in AR camera, what we have to do now is we have to come in Vuforia behavior and select this as first target, and then open Vuforia configuration. And as you can see here, we need to paste the app license key. Let's just go back there. I believe I have it copied, but I'm going to copy it again in workshop 1, and then I have copied it again, and then just paste this key, add license. Okay, it will take me back to the website, and then okay, so we have our database also. Alright, so now what we have to do, now everything is set up. Now all we have to do is create a 3D object here. So I will now create a cylinder. Okay, so let me just make sure that the cylinder is a child of image target, and just make sure that it lies exactly above the image. Alright, so now I believe we can go ahead and press play. Alright, so now it's turning on the camera. Okay, so when I display my image here, my book picture, as you
Sarosh,
can see, yes.
sorry to interrupt you, but the live stream has stopped.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, at least for me.
Uh, can you guys please confirm in the chat whether the live stream is on? Shruti, can you just sign in from a different account and check whether the stream is on?
Yeah, actually I have, but then I can't see it.
Oh, okay, let me just check, because I don't have any problem with my connection. Can anyone please say in the chat whether the stream is live? Oh, okay, let me just check. Okay, it is. I don't have any problem with my connection. It is. I am.
Yeah, let's continue. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry for that. All right, so yeah. Okay, so my camera is visible. So as you can see now, this is the mobile resolution. If I display my image, the book image, so now you can see a basic, it's displaying a basic AR object. Yep. So we can add animations to this. We can move the directional light however we want, and I can move this like this. And if it's on a mobile, you can just go 3D around it and see it much clearly. All right, so now what we will do is, let's animate this thing. All right, so firstly I will adjust my directional light because it's looking completely black. Right. Okay, so now I'm just gonna color this. So now what I'm going to do is, now I'll animate this. Just go in the animation tab, create an animation, uh, cylinder anim. Alright, let me just start the animation, and actually it's no point in rotating it like that. I will rotate it like this because yep. So I'll stop this again, and the end cylinder animation file, I'll loop it. So now when I press play, you guys can see that it's an animating AR object. Woohoo! Yep. So now, so if I remove, if I suddenly remove it like this, the object is still visible, but when I properly bring back the image, it then does it properly. So for example, when you are using a phone and you can suddenly remove your object, your image target, and then it will still stay there, and then you can just roam around it and then see how the exact detail of the object. All right, so now what we will try to do is we will add a button here. Let me just create a canvas. All right, so inside my canvas I will create a button. No, sorry, not a text mesh pro. Okay, so my button is created. I don't need a text mesh pro. Okay, I don't even need a text actually. I'm just gonna give it some image, maybe some play image again, or let's just give it this arrow. Okay, so I believe I'm seeing it from the different side. Yep. And then just adjust it. Okay, so now this is a very small, let's just increase its size, and then let me just place it here. So we will give this button a function to play our cylindrical animation only if we click this button, right? So let's do that. So inside our cylinder, so this was our cylinder controller and this was our cylinder animation. So you double tap here and then it takes you to this weird place called animator. Here you just basically have to assign stuff. So now what we will do is, when the entry starts, the cylinder animation will play. So we don't want to do that. We want to play the animation only if we have clicked the button. So I will right click here and then create an empty state first. I will call it do nothing. So by this you are also getting a basics of how the animator functions. So do nothing, and then what I will do is I will set this as default layer state. So whenever we press play, it will do nothing basically. So I can just bring it here now, and then I will create a transition from here to do nothing, and then I can name this as maybe animate. So make sure you name this right, because we need this spelling to be accurate. Okay, so now what we can do is, okay, so now we have created this animation function. So now what we can do is we can go back to our scene, we can go back to our cylinder. Now our cylinder has this animation, right? This cylinder animation. So we can go to the button and then add, and then I can grab this cylinder object which has the animation and I can place it here. And then from no function I will go to animator and I will select play string. So now I have to write the name of the animation which I gave it. So I called it animator right here, as you guys can see. So you have to name it correctly. So in the button, so you can go ahead and create multiple animations. You can go ahead and create multiple states of animations, and then just give them a transition state here. Make sure you know what you named it, and then for different, you can create multiple buttons and give each animation a different button. So for one button it will roll over, for one button it will move forward. I hope you guys understood what I just said. Yep. So now we have written animate here. So when I press play, yep, so I can see this button here, and when I show my when I show my cylinder and when I press this button, as we can see, the animation plays only when I press this button. So yeah, I am pressing this button and this animation is being played. So that was pretty simple. So now what we can do is that we can create our complete menu, a proper menu on, and give them buttons like what do we want to see, whether you want to see a dinosaur, or if you want to see a warrior doing some of his stylish moves, or maybe a lion roaring. So you can just import those models and create such different scenes, and give them different marker objects, and then you can create a basic app which functions like that. But you have to make sure that the marker which you are using is readily available for the common public to use also. For example, a cover of a Navneet book, or just a white page. You can also use a white page. There's nothing wrong with it, but but since white is a very common color, it won't display it properly. So as I said, you have to make sure the features of your image are distinct, right? Mm, okay, so now we have seen the button. All right, so I believe we have time to see one more function, which is basically going to destroy our game objects. So for now, I'm going to disable this cylinder, right? And now I'm going to create a few cubes here, right? Let me just adjust its height. And let me create another cube which we will use as a platform. All right, I will call it platform, and let me just shape it like a platform. Okay, let me just increase its width a bit more. Dude, okay, so I believe this is good. Let me just play and see if this is visible over my image. Is it? Yep, it is. Perfect. So now what we can do is we can duplicate these objects. I am going to decrease its size a bit more. Duplicate, 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 and then select all of these and then duplicate them again. So what we can do here is we can create an empty object, and then inside this empty object we can place all of our cubes. So if I want to move them now, I can just move my game object, right? Okay, so let me just, okay, so this cube wasn't selected. Let me just put it back here. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and create another script. You will like this one. I will call it destroy. Make sure to put it in your scripts folder, organize it. Right, so I'm just going to delete this as we don't need it. By the way, what this update function does is it updates your function, or it runs it again for every frame. So depending how much frames it, on what frames it runs, it will update it every time. And the start function which was there, it only runs once when you press the play button. So here we can create a private void on, okay, we need this as capital always, remember that, on mouse button. So this is a function inside Unity, and then what I can do is I can write here destroy. These are inbuilt functions in Unity. Oops, that's not destroy. Destroy. Oops. And destroy, and we write this dot game object. Game object, right? So what this script basically does, on mouse button, we mean that when I press my mouse down button, my left button, when I press it, it will destroy the game object. So if I press this button on a cube, it will destroy that certain cube. All right, so let's save this script, and then let's close this. Okay, so if I had an error or syntax error or anything wrong, it will refresh it, and if I have any error, it will give it to me here. As you can see, we have all these logs of scripts. Okay, so here's something that we did wrong. I created this destroy script, but what I actually should have done is I should have created a prefab of the cube, and then I should have and I should have just placed the script on that prefab. Now I have to place this script on each and every cube. Yeah, so for now what I can actually do is just select this cube and add this to it like this. But when there are different models and when there are complex models, you can't do like this. It won't be just possible. So now each and every game object, I believe, has a script. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and run this. All right, so now this button won't do anything because I have disabled my cylinder. Okay, so you can see we even have the shadows of our cube, so that's pretty cool. And if those cubes are animating, then the shadow will also move. So now let me just try to click on one of these cubes. See, as you can see, when I click on this cube, it deletes the cube. So what you can actually do is you can allot these cubes of physics in AR or whether a normal project, and you can create something like a level. When you have to press these, you have to delete these certain cubes, and make this ball go from one place to another. And when the ball reaches that place, you can just create a simple script that load another screen, which basically means that your level has been completed. So I can just go ahead and click on this. So as you can see, these objects are also being deleted from here, as you can see, and even their shadows are disappearing. So on mouse button, it's just destroying that simple game object. So this was pretty cool. All right, so I believe that we are done for our simple AR application hands-on project. What you can just do is you can, let me just type warrior maybe. You can select your own, okay, that's not the correct spelling. Anyways, you can select your own warriors however you want. You can, maybe have an animal which has an animation playing, and you can just place it under image target, place it properly, under our image. For now we have this platform here. You can also, go right there at the side, and when you play it, this platform will be visible on the right side or left side, whatever that is. So you can just go ahead and import these models. These models will be in a prefab form, so all you have to do is it imports such folders, and inside those folders there's a prefab folder, and inside those prefabs there are these models, like for example this barbarian model. Then all you have to do is pick it up and place it over image target so that it becomes a child of image target, so that it will be visible in AR, right? So you guys can do that. And for the assignment you have to do this same thing. So before leading on to the assignment, we'll just check how to export our project first. So our project is for now complete. Now we will see how to export it. Okay, let's go to build settings. Now here, wait a minute, let me just save my scene, and then I can just go to build settings, and then I can go ahead and add my AR scene, or you can just click on add open scenes. Right, so now there's a problem. In the menu we created something which leads us to basics, but we didn't create a button that leads us to AR, right? So I believe we should create a button which leads us to AR. So where is my menu? Here is my menu. So I'll just redirect this to, instead of basics, we saw basics, we don't need to go into basics again, we'll just go into AR. So let me just play this. We also have our video playing. If I press this, all right, so my camera has now started. All right, perfect. So we can get started with the execution process. So I have these scenes imported in me, and since we are not taking the basics one, we can just untick this, or maybe even delete it from here. So from menu we go to AR, and then where do we go from AR? Do we go to menu again, or did we not make that function? Oh, okay, we didn't make a back button. Never mind. You guys can make it. It's very simple. You just have to create a simple button and redirect it to menu. Make sure you write the right spelling. All right. So what do you have to do here? You have to select your card. Make sure your phone has the developer mode enabled. So to enable your developer mode, you have to just go into your about phone, info about your phone, and then just maybe click on uh, one your version or kernel version, and then or a build number, then you will access the developer mode. And then from the settings you have to enable USB debugging. You have to enable that button, and then connect your mobile phone to your laptop, and then just give me a minute. So by that time you guys just allow your USB debugging. So you can go in this player settings, and then you guys can give it a name. You can give your product name, you can give it a version, you can give it a default icon, you can give an icon to your cursor, and then yeah, let's just close this for a bit, and let us switch our platform to Android. Okay, then switch platform. It will take a while. If you guys are having any error importing it to Android, then you haven't installed the Android SDK. That's the only problem that people face when they are switching platforms. So, all right. So now we can connect our USB to our mobile phone. It's fetching devices. It will ask us on our mobile phone whether you want to allow USB debugging. So now instead of default, I can just select my Samsung mobile, and then let's just go to player settings, and then under Android, if you are having any error, make sure that there's an option here called Android TV compatibility. If you are having such kind of error, then untick this button. All right, and then you don't need to change anything else. Everything else looks good. These are the project settings, and you can change your resolutions. It's pretty straightforward stuff. There's nothing much to it. So these are just the publishing settings. If you want to publish your app to Play Store, we won't be needing them now. And here we have the input manager. So we are not using this for now, but let me just explain what this does. So basically this input manager, it has all of the keys. So suppose I have this character and I want to give it a function when I press Q. So I have to come here and I have to create another key. All right, and then I have to allot it in my script. Yeah, so you can just check this stuff out. You don't ever need to come here except for this player settings, but it's fun to just check around and mess with stuff. Then I can close this, and now since my Samsung device is created, I can do build and I can save it at a certain place, or I can do build and run. All right, so let me just save it here. I'm gonna call it workshop test, and okay. So now it will build my APK as well as install it in my mobile. I just need to keep my card connected and allow USB debugging. This will take a while. Okay, so it's almost complete. So if you face no errors, that means the app should be playing on your mobile as soon as this build gradle project is done. It will take a while, it always does, no matter what. And since we have so many of these objects which we are not going to use, it packs all of that stuff, these terrains, this low poly earth and all these buttons. It packs them, and it also imports it in our APK. So also one thing to notice, that when you are finally publishing, make sure you remove all of the redundant stuff. keep your app clean and keep in the assets the only things which have you actually used in the C. All right. Okay, so it's copying APK now. All right, that's taking quite a while. By that time, I believe we can discuss our assignment. So this is basically what your assignment will be. You have to create a simple basic AR object like we did. You have to create a simple UI page. You have to import, you have to give it a background of an image or a video, and you have to create at least one button which basically takes you to the AR scene, and then we have to export it for our Android or iOS versions. It's almost the same process for iOS too. You have approximately 1 week to do it, and you can record your mobile screen while doing it, or you can give it images, screenshots of from your mobile, and you can also give us a few screenshots of the Unity editor. But mainly if you have given your screenshots or a video of your AR object playing, that will be fine. All right, so it's taking quite a lot of while. It will take, there's nothing much we can do about it. And if you want to export it for Windows as a .exe file, then you just keep it the platform as same as PC, and then you just build your project, give it a appropriate location, and then you can build and run, or just build and then go to your .exe file and then just run your project. Alright, this is taking quite a while now. Alright, we can try this later, I believe. For now, I'm just going to disconnect my cord. So it will give us some errors and then it will run again. But if you have followed all these instructions properly, it will deploy it correctly and then we should have no problem at all. I'm just gonna share an app which I created. So let me just show you guys that one. So I believe we can turn on my camera. Yeah, so this is a same project just exported. So as you can see here, we have, I'm not so sure it's visible, we have the similar project done here and we have the play button. It's, I believe it's just a different one. So when I press play, it will, it will display all of my necessary stuff on the camera. Alright, so it's having a little trouble organizing. Yep, so it's visible now. Yep, I don't know if you guys can see it, but as you can see, there's a man walking, and then if I can take this behind, yep. So that's how our project was exported, and we have our buttons here down below, which basically what one does is one plays it, one plays the animation of the earth rotating, and then another one just takes us back to the menu, as you can see right here. Alright, so I believe that will be all for our hands-on augmented reality workshop. So yeah, make sure you do all this Vuforia stuff and then make sure you do your assignment right. If you are having any problems executing it, you can also send us the Unity editor photos and the project running in your laptop itself. Alright, so that will be all from me. I guess Isha can now take over.
Thank you, Sarosh. Now let's start with the question answer session. Please feel free to ask your questions in the live chat box. Sarosh will answer them directly.
Alright, so if there are no questions, then I believe we can end our workshop for today. Isha, you can end it.
Yes, I think our viewers don't have any questions. Regarding the certificate for the session, you need to submit an assignment to us. The details are up on the screen right now, given in the description box as well, as it will be shared on our WhatsApp group. Let's end this session on a positive note. Thank you, Sarosh. It was very informative session. We hope that all our viewers gained some knowledge from it. We appreciate you for taking out valuable time from your schedule to share your knowledge with us. Thank you everyone for being a part of this workshop. We hope you enjoyed it and gained some valuable insights about how to work with Unity and create augmented reality applications in it. Thank you.